When we explore haunted houses tied to serial killers, there is often a chilling undertone, bringing back us of a time when death was ever present, from incurable diseases to countless murderers lurking in the shadows. Are some killers turning into poltergeists? Gruesome crimes tied to dark and mysterious locations leave a legacy of fear that haunts history. The 19th century, infamous for its macabre atmosphere, gave rise to notorious figures like Jack the Ripper and H. Holmes. However, many other killers from this era are less well known but equally terrifying. American Horror Story. Coven revived the sinister allure of the infamous LaLaurie mansion. Kathy Bates stars as Madame LaLaurie, a real-life socialite turned serial killer who tortured African slaves in her home on Royal Street. After a fire exposed horrific exploits, rumours began of the spirits of victims haunting the mansion. When rescuers entered after a fire, the mansion in 1834, they found enslaved individuals butchered and chained in a hidden torture chamber. Some were barely alive, having endured unspeakable cruelties such as being stretched, whipped, limbs twisted, bodies mutilated beyond recognition. The sight was so gruesome that several rescuers vomited from the stench of death. These nightmarish conditions revealed Madame LaLaurie's sick fascination with torture, marking her as one of history's most brutal figures. Visitors and locals have reported strange disappearances and accidents over the years, further feeding the legend that those who disturb the cursed mansion may never leave or suffer violent consequences from the ruthless spirits within. Despite its dreadful past, the mansion has attracted wealthy buyers, including Nicolas Cage. Now it's up for sale. Could you be the next owner? The creepy tale of Sally House begins with a face in the window, a little girl watching others from a boys' room. In the mid-1800s, a frantic mother arrived at Dr. Charles Finney's door, her daughter's appendix ready to burst. Desperation led the doctor to operate in his basement, but tragically, the girl died screaming under his knife. In the 1990s, Tony and Deborah Pickman moved into the house and quickly experienced phenomena: toys mysteriously moving, lights flickering, and their baby frequently waking in distress. Tony soon encountered physical harm, including scratches and bite marks. Family documented their experience on the TV show Sightings, which spoke of flying objects, frequent apparitions, and a mix of hurting, all mainly directed at the male owner. One night, Tony encountered the apparition of a little girl near the basement door. Frozen in fear, he realized the figure was not entirely human, a translucent shadow of what could only be Sally. The haunting grew darker, strange bites, violent scratches, and the disturbing feeling of being watched became the norm. The couple reached out for help, leading to numerous investigations, each one uncovering clues that are more evil. The legend says this moment created one of the most haunted houses in America. Could the ghost of little Sally be responsible for the strange happenings that would plague the home? The home is now vacant, but a popular pick for paranormal researchers, and even regular folks can book the house to stay the night. Prices start at $125 per person, with a 2-person minimum. This retired ocean liner, now a hotel, is a viral hotspot for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. Queen Mary has gained a reputation for being haunted by numerous spirits, including children, sailors, and a mysterious lady in white. Videos of ghost sightings, EVP recordings, and unsettling footage from the ship's dark halls have circulated widely online, making it one of the most talked-about haunted locations. Bill Salder, a maritime historian, once a stubborn skeptic, had numerous chilling encounters aboard the Queen Mary, transforming his views on the paranormal. His first encounter was in the first-class swimming pool, where he saw a young woman dressed in outdated 1960s fashion. Her silent steps on loose ceramic tiles puzzled him as she ascended the stairs. She vanished behind a pillar. Later, Sauder discovered the ship's pool had long been the site of various ghost sightings, deepening his fears. Not long after, while inspecting the pool area, an invisible force gripped his shoulder, pushing him toward the water. Teetering on the edge, Sauder was pulled back by the same unseen force, leaving him with red marks on his shoulders. One of his most haunting experiences came at sunset while standing on the deck. Suddenly, Sauder found himself transported to 1966, the Queen Mary's final service days. He felt the cold bite of winter and witnessed the melancholic crew preparing the ship for its final voyage. The sense of despair and loss weighed heavily on him. Sauder eventually came to believe that these incidents were echoes of the ship's storied past, especially from its time during World War II, when it served as a troop ship. The site of a horrible 1912 axe murder, this house has become a viral, haunted destination. On June 9, 1912, the Moore family and their 2 guests returned home after a church service. By morning, 8 people were brutally murdered in their beds, their heads bludgeoned with an axe. The quiet town of Villisca was shocked. No one heard a sound. No one saw a thing. The house became a chilling crime scene, with the killer leaving behind horrid details, faces covered and bloodstains marking every room. The killer was never found, and the Villisca axe murders remain one of the most infamous cold cases in American history. Was it the evil of a man or something more darker that cursed this house? Footage from ghost hunts and overnight stays at the Villisca Axe murder house continues to captivate audiences all over the world. In the heart of New York City sits one of the most haunted homes in the state, the House of Death. A frightening place where exorcisms have failed, spirits linger, and strange occurrences continue to haunt those brave enough to enter. Perhaps the most shocking event was the 1987 murder of 6-year-old Lisa Nussbaum. Found by paramedics in her Greenwich Village apartment, her tragic death added yet another layer of terror to the house's already gruesome history. Lisa was discovered cold on the kitchen floor by paramedics after a 911 call from her mother, Hedda Nussbaum. Lisa's brother was also found tied up, and both Hedda and her children showed signs of severe abuse. Lisa died from blunt force trauma inflicted by her foster father Joel Steinberg during a cocaine binge. Hedda, also a victim of his abuse, later testified against Steinberg in court, leading to his conviction for manslaughter. This house is not just a legend, it's a living nightmare. Is the house cursed, or is something evil holding its grip? These homes may look normal from the outside, but inside they are gateways to another world, a world where the dead refuse to rest. Would you dare to enter? Subscribe now and step into the next revelation.